Well, last week we talked about the teaching of Jesus and some of the unknown things, and this week I said we'd talk about how you can become more loving and be more loving. Well, I think the way to start is by giving, and most important of all, forgiving. And start with yourself. Give to yourself and forgive to yourself. You know, there's an old saying in business that a man should pay himself first, meaning that after you receive your money for whatever reason, that you should take a certain amount of that goes to you. And the rest you can put in savings and pay bills or do whatever, but there should always be a certain amount that stays just for you. Well, it's the same with forgiveness. You gotta start with you. You know, when you're angry at somebody or mad at them, as the saying goes, or feel like they've wronged you or hurt you, the one that it hurts the most is you. You're holding that and it's bothering you. Well, I'm not condoning the things that people do that are bad, that can cause you to be uncomfortable and possibly unloving. But what I am saying is that you should not carry it. Don't let it affect you. Don't take the blame or the pain with it. Get rid of those things by forgiving. And sometimes we have to forgive ourselves. That's where we have to start. And that's love. That's love in action. Now, it's a little difficult to discipline yourself, to use your willpower, to say, I'm not going to let anything really bother me on a loving basis. That doesn't mean you have to like everything that happens or even like the people involved, but it does mean you should learn how to love and to return good to the evil that has come upon you. What did Jesus say? He said, turn the other cheek. I don't think he meant this cheek. I think he means the cheek you're sitting on. Get away from that kind of thing. Stay away from it so that you don't have the emotions that are negative. Make sure that you follow the teaching of the master and not the master. He didn't want to be followed. He said, follow me, meaning follow my teachings. I want you to do what I tell you to. So I always say, I'm not worried about what Jesus would do. He'd walk on water, turn water to wine, and heal the sick and restore sight to the blind, hearing to the deaf. No, I don't mean that you need to work for the miracles. What you need to do is to do it the Jesus way. And he did it all with love. He could only see the perfection in man because man is a spiritual being riding around in a physical body. And it's that physical body that creates a lot of our problems, isn't it? It's that physical body that has desires and ego and all the things that go together to make you an uncomfortable being if it doesn't go your way. Well, your way should be the loving way. So you don't have to like people. You don't have to be a doormat. Remember, your freedom ends where my nose begins. My old German grandfather, had an awful good saying, and his saying was, it isn't just the change, it's the change for betterment that counts. And he's right. It's a change for betterment. The biggest change you can do is to respond in a loving way. And sometimes that may seem a little unusual to you, and it'll take a lot of time before you can do that with everything, because we've had a lifetime of tit for tat. Well, there goes the alarm. That means my 5 minutes is up, and it's pretty hard to explain all these things in 5 minutes, but God bless you for sharing with me and for allowing me to share the very little